Commander Du Haiyun stood at the bridge of his warship, watching the peaceful world below burn. His sharp teeth gleamed in a smile as another city fell to the might of the Cryo Empire. The year was 3457, and the galaxy belonged to the strong. "Commander, the Luminary leaders wish to surrender," his second-in-command reported. The blue-skinned alien race had fought bravely, but like all others, they had fallen before the Cryo's superior weapons. "Tell them they are wise to submit to the Empire," Du Haiyun said. He walked across the bridge, his armored boots making heavy sounds on the metal floor. The bridge crew, all members of the proud Cryo race, worked at their stations with perfect discipline. Their scaled skin and sharp features marked them as the galaxy's premier warriors. The view screen showed the Luminary capital city. Its tall crystal towers, once beautiful, now stood broken. Smoke rose from the rubble where Cryo bombs had struck. This was the 10th world to fall this year alone. "Send in the ground troops," Du Haiyun ordered. Standard occupation protocol. He had done this so many times before. First, they would take control of all important buildings. Then, they would set up their government. The Luminary would learn to serve the Empire, just like all the others. Later that day, Du Haiyun sat in his private quarters, reading reports from other Cryo fleets. Everywhere in the galaxy, their forces were winning. Some worlds fought back. Others gave up right away. It didn't matter, the result was always the same. A message from Science Officer T1 caught his attention. The officer had been studying old records found in the Luminary archives. Most of it was useless, but one thing stood out. Commander, T1's message read, "I found something strange. These records speak of another species called humans. They were supposedly very powerful, but they disappeared thousands of years ago. The records say they went into some kind of deep sleep." Du Haiyun laughed. "Sleeping warriors? What kind of strong species would choose to sleep instead of fight?" He typed a quick reply, "Focus on useful information. Officer T1. Dead species don't matter to the Empire." That evening, Du Haiyun watched from his window as Cryo ships patrolled the Luminary skies. Their world would soon join the others in the Empire's growing collection. More soldiers to fight in their armies. More workers to build their ships. More resources to fuel their war machines. "Status report," he commanded through his communicator. "All major cities are under our control, Commander," came the reply. "The Luminary Council has signed the surrender documents. This world is now part of the Empire." Du Haiyun nodded with satisfaction. Another successful conquest. The Cryo had proven once again that they were the strongest beings in the galaxy. No one could stand against them. No one would dare try. As he prepared for sleep that night, Du Haiyun thought briefly about Awan's report. Humans. Such a strange name for a species. It was probably just a myth, a story the weak races told themselves for comfort. After all, who would choose to sleep when they could rule? The Empire had nothing to fear from ancient legends. They were the masters of the galaxy now, and nothing would ever change that. Du Haiyun closed his eyes, dreaming of more victories to come. Little did he know that far away, in the cold darkness of space, ancient machines were starting to wake up, and with them, a force that would shake the galaxy to its core. Captain Ji Yoon's exploration fleet moved slowly through the empty space of Sector 47. This was the furthest any Cryo ships had ever traveled from the Empire's core worlds. They were looking for new planets to conquer, but so far, they had found nothing interesting. "Captain, there's something strange on our long-range scanners," said the sensor officer. His scaled hands moved quickly over the control panel. Ji Yoon walked over to look at the screen. "Show me," she ordered. Her heart beat faster as the image appeared. Something huge floated in the darkness ahead of them. It's bigger than anything we've ever seen, Captain," the officer said. The object was shaped like a massive ring, spinning slowly in space. Lights flickered across its surface like stars. "Take us closer," Ji-yoon commanded. Her ship, the Star Seeker, moved forward carefully. As they got closer, they could see that the ring was actually made up of thousands of smaller structures, all connected together. The communications officer suddenly spoke up. "Captain, we're picking up a signal. It's very old, but it's still active." Ji-yoon leaned forward in her command chair. "Play it." A series of beeps and clicks filled the bridge. Then, words appeared on their screens, translated by their computers. "WARNINGH, UMANPRESER, VATIONF, ACCI, LIT, YAUT, ORIZ, EDAC, ELSA, ESAOI. The bridge went quiet. Everyone knew about the humans from old stories, but no one had ever found proof they were real. Until now. "Scan the whole structure," Ji-yoon ordered. The results made her scales tingle with excitement. The ring was full of strange pods, millions of them, and inside each pod was something that looked like a sleeping person. Ji-yoon sent an urgent message to Empire Command. Within hours, more crater ships arrived. Scientists and military leaders wanted to study this amazing discovery. "We should destroy it," said Admiral Kang, the fleet commander. "These humans might be dangerous if they wake up." "No," Ji-yoon argued. "Think about what we could learn from their technology. Look at how advanced this station is. It's still working after thousands of years." The debate went on for days. Ji-yoon and her science team studied the facility from their ships. They found more messages, more warnings. The humans had built many of these stations throughout the galaxy. They had gone to sleep to escape some great danger, planning to wake up when it was safe again. "They must all be dead by now," Ji-yoon told her crew as they worked. No one could survive sleeping for so long. But deep inside, she wasn't so sure. Everything about this place seemed to be working perfectly. One evening, as Ji-yoon sat in her quarters, looking at the facility's scans, she noticed something worrying. The power readings from the station were getting stronger. The lights were getting brighter. Something was changing. She rushed to contact Admiral Kang, but it was too late. Their scanning had triggered something in the station's ancient systems. As she watched through her window, more and more lights began to turn on across the massive ring. The last thing Ji-yoon saw before the emergency alarm started blaring was a new message flashing on every screen: REV, IV, ALSAQ, UENCE, EINIT, EITA, ED. The humans were waking up. Science Officer T1 could barely contain his excitement as he stepped onto the human facility. After days of careful planning, the crater had finally managed to enter the massive structure. He led a team of the Empire's best scientists, all eager to study the ancient technology. "Remember," he told his team, "touch nothing without checking with me first." Their scaled feet made soft sounds on the metal floor as they walked through the dark corridors. Their light showed smooth walls covered in strange writing. The air inside was cold and clean. Everything looked new, as if it had been built yesterday, not thousands of years ago. Daewon checked his scanner as they walked deeper into the facility. "This way," he said, pointing to a large door. "The main control room should be through here." The door opened smoothly when they approached, surprising everyone. The humans' technology still worked perfectly after all this time. The control room was huge. Screens covered the walls, all dark and silent. In the center stood a round platform with a glowing blue panel. Daewon walked up to it slowly, his heart beating fast with excitement. "Sir," one of his assistants said nervously, "maybe we should wait for more security before we touch anything." Ta-1 shook his head. "The humans are all dead. Their machines are just running on old programs. There's nothing to fear." He reached out and touched the glowing panel. The room suddenly came alive. Lights flashed on everywhere. All the screens lit up at once, showing strange symbols and numbers. A voice spoke from nowhere, making everyone jump. What's happening? Someone shouted. Dai-1 tried to turn off the panel, but nothing worked. The voice kept speaking, getting louder. THRE, a TDETE, CTED. A CT, IV a T, ING, a LLPRE, ESER, VIO, NPOD, EME, RGEE, EYW, AKEUPPEROC, EDURE, BE, EG, INNING. Through the windows, one could see lights turning on all through the station. Millions of small pods were starting to glow. Inside each one, something was moving. Everyone out, he shouted. Back to the ships. Now? They ran through the corridors as alarms started blaring. The voice followed them everywhere. REV, IV, EALPRO, CESSA, T10%, 20%, 30%. When they reached their ships, Tae-1 sent an emergency message to the fleet. "We made a terrible mistake," he wrote with shaking hands. "The humans aren't dead. They're all waking up." From his ship's window, he watched in horror as the massive ring structure came fully alive. Energy readings were off the charts. More and more pods were lighting up every second. REV, IV, EALP, RO, CESA, T75%. 85%, 90%. The first pod opened with a hiss of steam. Then another and another. Soon, thousands of pods were opening all across the station. Inside, each one was a human, perfectly preserved, now opening their eyes for the first time in thousands of years. Dai-1's scanner picked up new signals. More stations like this one were activating all across the galaxy. The humans hadn't built just one preservation facility, they had built hundreds. REV, IV, EALPRO, CES, CEAA, PLATE, WELC, OMEB, ACKRUMANITY. As A1 watched the first humans step out of their pods, he realized what they had done. The Crater Empire had just woken up the most powerful species in the galaxy's history. And they didn't look happy. Admiral Song-ho watched from the bridge of his flagship as thousands of humans emerged from their sleep pods. His fleet of 50 Crater warships surrounded the station, weapons ready. But the humans didn't seem afraid at all. A message appeared on his screen. "This is Director Han Jae of the Human Preservation Project. We wish to speak peacefully." Song-ho hesitated. The human's voice was calm and steady, as if waking up after thousands of years was perfectly normal. "You are in Crater Empire space," he replied. "Surrender now." A small ship left the station, heading towards Song-ho's flagship. Inside was Director Han Jae and several other humans. They looked strange to Song-ho. No scales, no claws, just soft skin and different-colored hair. How could these weak-looking creatures be dangerous? In the meeting room, Han Jae sat across from Song-ho. The human's eyes were sharp and alert. "Tell me," Han Jae said, "what has happened to the galaxy while we slept?" Song-ho felt proud as he described the Crater Empire's power. "We rule everything now. All of the species serve us. We are the strongest." Han Jae's face grew sad. "So nothing has changed." The strong still bully the weak. The human turned to a window, looking at the stars. That's why we went to sleep, you know. Not because we were afraid. Then why? Songho asked, curious despite himself. There was a great darkness coming to the galaxy, Honjay explained. A cosmic storm that would destroy everything. We built these stations to preserve life until it passed. We offered to help other species, but they refused to believe us. They thought we were weak for running away. More humans were waking up now. Songho's sensors showed them activating old machinery, powering up systems that had slept for millennia. Their technology was like nothing he had ever seen. The storm passed long ago, Honjay continued. We expected to wake up to a peaceful galaxy. Instead, we find new bullies, new empires built on fear. Suddenly, alarms blared across Songho's ship. Admiral, his officer shouted. We're detecting more stations activating. Hundreds of them, all across the galaxy. Honjay stood up. Those are our military preservation stations. While most of us slept in civilian pods, our soldiers and ships waited in other facilities. We didn't abandon our duty to protect the galaxy. We just waited for the right time. Songho watched in shock as massive human warships emerged from hidden stations. They were bigger than anything the Crata had ever built. Ancient weapons powered up, and armies of human soldiers began to wake. You should call your emperor, Honjay said kindly. Tell him humanity has returned. Tell him we're not happy about what his empire has done to our galaxy. Tell him we're going to fix things. As Songho rushed to send the message, he finally understood. The humans hadn't hidden in their sleep pods because they were weak. They had simply been waiting, preserving their strength for when it was truly needed. Now they were awake. And the galaxy would never be the same. Director Honjay looked out at the stars again, his eyes filled with determination. It's time, he said quietly, to remind everyone why humanity was once the guardian of peace in this galaxy. General Yon Ayar stood on the command deck of the Human Defense Force flagship Earth's Memory. Around her, screens showed hundreds of human warships moving into formation. After thousands of years of sleep, humanity's military was ready for action. Status report, she ordered. Her crew worked smoothly at their stations, as if they hadn't just woken up from a sleep that lasted millennia. All ships report ready, General, her second-in-command said. The Crata Empire is gathering their forces in the Centauri sector. On the main screen, War Master Kite of the Crata Empire appeared. His scaled face showed no fear. Your ancient fleet doesn't scare us humans, he growled. The galaxy belongs to the Crata now. Yon smiled calmly. You've had your fun, War Master. Now it's time to see what real military power looks like. She turned to her crew. Target their command ships only. No unnecessary destruction. The first battle started quickly. The Crata ships fired their best weapons, but they couldn't break through the human ship's shields. Yon fleet moved with perfect precision, their formations dancing through space, like they were performing a carefully planned show. Disable their engines, Yon commanded. Beams of light shot out from her ships, cutting through the Crata fleet's defenses, like they weren't even there. One by one, the mighty Crata warships lost power and drifted in space. War Master Kite couldn't believe what he was seeing. Impossible, he shouted. We are the strongest military force in the galaxy. No, Yona replied. You're just the newest bullies. And like all bullies, you don't know the difference between having power and knowing how to use it properly. More human facilities were waking up across the galaxy. Each one released warships and soldiers, all with technology far beyond what the Crata had. But the humans didn't destroy their enemies. They simply disabled their ships and captured their crews. In the Crata Empire's capital, panic was spreading. Reports came in from everywhere about human ships freeing conquered worlds. The creatures they had thought were weak myths were now showing military skill that made the crater look like children playing with toys. "Send all ships," Kite ordered. "Every warship we have. We must stop them." But it was too late. The humans had spent their long sleep improving their technology and planning their strategies. They knew exactly what to do. Their ships could appear anywhere in the galaxy instantly. Their weapons could shut down entire fleets without killing anyone. Yolnar watched from her command chair as another crater fleet surrendered. "Our ancestors chose to sleep not because they were weak," she told her prisoners, "but because they knew that sometimes the greatest strength is knowing when to wait." The Crater Empire's mighty fleet was falling apart. Thousands of years of conquest were being undone in just a few days. The humans moved across the galaxy like an unstoppable wave, but one that brought freedom instead of destruction. "General," her communications officer called out, "the Crater Emperor wants to surrender." Yolnar nodded. "Tell him we accept. And remind him that this time, things will be different. The galaxy won't be ruled by fear anymore." As she looked out at the stars, Yolnar thought about how the crater had laughed at the idea of sleeping humans. They hadn't understood that sometimes the most dangerous enemy isn't the one who fights back immediately, but the one who waits for the perfect moment to strike. Commander Du Hyun stood in the ruins of his empire's greatest city, watching human ships fly overhead. Just 1 month had passed since they woke up, but everything had changed. The mighty Crater Empire was falling apart like a house made of cards. "Sir," his aide reported, "we've lost contact with the outer colonies. The humans are freeing them all." Du Hyun's scales felt cold. Every day brought news of more defeats, more surrenders. In space above the crater homeworld, the final battle was about to begin. The Empire had gathered its last ships, 5,000 warships, against just 100 human vessels. It should have been an easy victory. But Du Hyun knew better now. The human ships moved like dancers in space, their advanced weapons slicing through crater shields. They didn't destroy the ships, they just disabled them. Thousands of escape pods filled space as crater crews abandoned their powerless vessels. "Commander," a voice called from his computer. It was Director Han Jae of the humans. "Your last fleet is defeated. Will you continue this pointless fight?" Du Hyun watched another crater cruiser drift powerless in space. "Why?" he asked. "Why show mercy? We conquered so many worlds. We hurt so many people. Why don't you destroy us?" Han Jae's face showed sadness, not anger. "Because that's why we went to sleep in the first place. We saw the galaxy falling into endless cycles of revenge and war. We waited for the right time to wake up and break that cycle." On screens across the planet, Du Hyun could see human ships helping the people the crater had conquered. They were providing food, medicine, and aid to all the worlds the Empire had hurt. They weren't acting like conquerors at all. "The truth is," Han Jae continued, "we didn't just sleep to escape the cosmic storm. We slept because we needed time for the galaxy to see where violence and conquest would lead. Time for everyone to learn that lesson." Suddenly, alarms blared. The Crater Emperor had ordered one final, desperate attack. Hidden weapons platforms around the planet began firing at the human fleet. But the humans had known about them all along. Special human ships appeared from nowhere, absorbing the attacks. Other ships quickly disabled the platforms. Not a single shot reached its target. Not a single life was lost. Du Hyun watched in amazement. The humans could have destroyed everything, but they chose not to. They fought with perfect skill and perfect control. "Your emperor has fled the planet," Han Jae informed him. "Your empire is finished. But your people don't have to suffer. Help us make things right." Looking at his ruined city, Du Hyun made a decision. He opened a channel to all remaining crater forces. This is Commander Du Hyun. I order all forces to stand down. The war is over. The humans have won. As the sun set on the Krater homeworld, Du Hyun met with Han Jae in person. The human looked tired but hopeful. What happens now? Du Hyun asked. Now, Han Jae said, we help you rebuild. Not as conquerors, but as teachers. The galaxy needs to learn a new way. And this time, humanity will stay awake to make sure it happens. The mighty Krater Empire had fallen. But as Du Hyun watched humans and Krater working together to help the injured and rebuild the city, he realized something important. Sometimes, losing a war could lead to winning something much more valuable, a chance to become better. 1 year after the humans woke up, Ambassador Min-ji walked through the halls of the new Galactic Council building. The massive structure floated in space, built by humans and Krater working together. It was a symbol of how much things had changed. Representatives from 100 different species filled the meeting rooms. Some had once been part of the Krater Empire. Others had hidden from it. Now they all sat together as equals. Min-ji entered the main council chamber, where Du Hyun, now the Krater representative, was speaking. His scales had a softer shine now, and he spoke with humility instead of pride. The Krater Empire hurt many worlds, he said to the council. We thought being strong meant making others weak. The humans taught us we were wrong. From her seat, Min-ji watched the other representatives. A year ago, they had all been enemies. Now they worked together to build something new. Human technology had helped everyone. They shared their medical knowledge to heal the sick. They taught their farming methods to feed the hungry. Director Han Jae stood up to speak next. When humanity went to sleep, the galaxy was facing two threats. One was the cosmic storm that could have destroyed everything. The other was the darkness in people's hearts, the desire to rule over others. The room was quiet as he continued. We could have stayed awake and fought both threats. But that would have led to more war, more pain. Instead, we chose to sleep and wait. We knew that sometimes the best way to teach a lesson is to let others learn it themselves. Min-ji remembered the day they had discovered the truth. In their sleep, humans had not been idle. Their computers had watched the galaxy, learning and planning. They had waited until the moment when their return would do the most good. Outside the council windows, ships from different species flew together peacefully. The humans had shared some of their technology, but not all of it. They kept the most powerful weapons safely stored away, promising to use them only if needed to protect the peace. The Age of Empires is over, Min-ji announced to the council. Today, we sign the Galactic Peace Treaty. No more conquests. No more slavery. No more war. One by one, the representatives came forward to sign. Even former enemies shook hands. The Luminari, once conquered by the Krater, now helped them rebuild their worlds. Former slaves became teachers and leaders. After the ceremony, Min-ji found Du Hyun looking out at the stars. Do you miss it? She asked. The power your empire once had. He shook his head. We thought we were strong because we could destroy. Now we know true strength comes from building, from helping others grow. As the day ended, Min-ji wrote in her diary, the humans didn't wake up to conquer the galaxy. They woke up to heal it. They showed us that the greatest power isn't the ability to take life, but the wisdom to protect it. In the space around the council station, ships of all kinds flew together in a celebration dance. Human vessels flew among them, no longer feared as mighty warriors, but respected as wise guardians. The galaxy had learned its lesson. The time of terror was over. A new day had begun, and this time, humanity would stay awake to see it bloom. Last edited just now.